Crit and Miss Out of the Abyss is a Dungeons & Dragons actual play livestream and is recommended for mature audiences. It may contain coarse language, adult humour, descriptions of graphic violence, horror themes, supernatural themes, Aussie slang, and more fun stuff. Good evening, Internet, and thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Out of the Abyss. My name is Sven, and I'm joined by Mark, Alicia, Froth, and tonight, say hello to all the viewers, guys.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Hello to all the viewers, guys.
I just really messed up that intro, but let's just go with it anyway. Who gives a shit? People don't come here for high quality production value. They come here for your pretty faces, and they're getting that. So, yeah, that's what it's all about. Some of the more eagle-eyed viewers tonight may have noticed an absence in the party, but don't worry.
No.
Grace has simply gone back to her natural elemental plane of existence for the time being. The summoning ritual is currently being performed in the background, and that should take about an hour or so, maybe less. Who knows?
It would have taken about half the time, but we were short on spell goblins, so we've only got a couple that can do the summoning.
Diamond Dust is hard to come by these days, but you should see her. You should see her materialize in a puff of smoke very soon. So fear not. Don't hit that unsubscribe button just yet, because she's gonna be back. Trust me. I got a question for you guys before we get started with the gameplay. A traditional question. Are you guys vivid dreamers?
When I do dream, yes. Or when I remember them, yes.
I'm much on the same page as you there.
Yeah. I don't often remember dreams, but
rarely, but when I do, yeah, it's super vivid.
Got any fun dreams that you remember?
Oh man, where do you want me to start?
Are we allowed to say that kind of stuff on this channel?
Oh yeah, everything goes. This is Twitch. You can say whatever you want.
No, I've had when I have those real vivid dreams, normally it's about fighting or something actually.
Okay.
Or I'm in kind of the movie Aliens, something like that, and I'm fighting off fucking aliens. I don't know why. It's just random.
I feel like dreaming is almost how in the Matrix, so they go into the Matrix and they upload all this data. I feel like dreaming is subconsciously preparing yourself for worst case scenarios. So you're dreaming of aliens attacking you and all that kind of stuff, so that your brain sort of has that fresh in its head should the situation pop up. Maybe not necessarily a xenomorph, but maybe a bogan from Vincent or something like that.
I think that is potentially one of the things that they're used for in that regard. Because I don't often have dreams like that. But the ones that I remember most vividly are I'll be in a really cool place, and some of them are occurring there's this one place, and it's this 3-story house with 2 wings in the middle of a sort of forest swamp thing. And the first time I went there, really beautiful though, not a gunky swamp. First time I went there, my grandparents owned it, or were running or looking after or something, and was the ones that used to run a Rotary college. And then another time I went back there, it was I now owned it, and it was a place where I used to live in Cairns in a hippie community. I'd sort of called all them people back, and we were doing that kind of thing in that house. And that kind of tied together because some of the upstairs floors in the houses in the community that I was in were a bit sketchy, and then in the dream some of the upstairs floors were a bit sketchy, and then I've been back into that same space several times, and every time it's what's been happening there has progressed without me being there, you know what I mean? But I'm still a part of it. It's really, so it's almost going into another world, logging into a game, or stepping into another realm or something, and picking up however much time has passed since the last time you logged in, as the world is persistent, and that's kind of cool. So maybe it's also a place we can travel and do cool things that we can't normally do in our actual lives.
I just can't believe that you would dream about something sketchy in a hippie community. There's nothing sketchy in a hippie community. It's not what they're known for. They're all legit and above board.
Look, everything that was going on in ours was legit and above board. If you consider moral, sort of frames of mind.
I don't. I never consider
necessarily legal, but the law and morals are two completely different things.
Ali, got any vivid dreamer?
I had one recently, which was a bit whack. It was like
Wacky
the government knew the date that the world was gonna implode, right? And so they were like, okay, we're not gonna let the entire human race deal with that trauma, so instead we're gonna just like gas everyone.
Okay.
So that they all die that way, like peacefully, rather than this impending doom. And so in the dream, like myself and a few of my friends all found out these secret government plans, so we built a shelter that was like airtight so that none of this poison gas could get in, and saved a bunch of people. And
cool.
I remember waking up as soon as, like, in the dream I found out that one of the people we'd rescued had like smashed open one of the parts of the shelter so that we could all die.
That's
I feel like that's totally got to be blended into like a one shot or something, mate. That's perfect for it.
Yeah.
I dig.
But in like a D&D setting.
You run it. I'll play it. I have
Roger that.
Yeah, I've got a thing for like apocalyptic movies, but not apocalyptic movies in which there is a chance that anyone survives. I have this sort of macabre sort of fascination with like proper apocalyptic movies.
Like it actually ending.
I like post-apocalyptic, like humanity struggling to survive after everything's gone fucked.
Well, then I feel like that's just semi-apocalyptic. No, I need if I'm going apocalyptic, it's got to be 100%. There was a really good Australian movie. It's a couple of really good Australian movies.
Apocalypse and Armageddon are kind of two different things.
No, the reason I ask you guys is because the other day I woke up my 3-year-old, and the first thing he said to me was, "Don't worry, Daddy, there's plenty of grass to eat." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Because you're a cow." And I was like, "The fuck did you just say to me?" I was like, "Yeah, I know Daddy's put on a little bit of weight ever since he stopped boxing, but there's no need to get mean about it. We're above that in this household." Yeah, I was just thinking, like, he must have been dreaming about that just before I woke him up, that we were cows and that we were eating grass, and that I didn't have enough grass or something like that. I just found that a very, like, I don't know, it was just funny. It was a cute image. But let's transition from things of cuteness, because I actually don't want to talk about my dreams, because I occasionally have some dreams that are so bad that I literally don't talk to anyone about them. And it's a little bit like what this campaign is like. Nightmares beyond comprehension. That's Out of the Abyss, and that's why I chose this campaign. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. We'll start playing. When Grace shows up, we'll just take a break. We'll fix it in post, as they say in the media business in Hollywood, which is where I have my holiday house. And we'll just keep going. But for the time being, let's start with a little bit of...
Hollywood, Queensland, right?
Hollywood, Queensland. That's right. Is there a Hollywood here?
No, I don't know. I was just making shit up.
Idalia's a bit like Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Lots of pretentious
no shit. When I first arrived in Townsville, I was like, oh, so this is what going to LA would be like. Oh, how wrong I was.
This is civilization?
Well, I came from Broken Hill, which is like 20-odd thousand people, mining town in the middle of nowhere.
I've always wondered how they break a hill.
This is what a book looks like.
By digging all the silver out of it, and lead, and zinc, and other various things.
I broke it.
Break piece.
And then dumping the excess behind the main street. Literally, the hill in Broken Hill is the old skip dump where they used to dump all the leftovers from the mining.
You say that as if that's not the reasonable answer, but it is. But I digress.
Yes, ready to play D&D.
Let's play a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons. Might be a little bit of a shorter episode tonight because we've all got things to do, but let's make it an episode that people are going to remember.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, let me set the scene here for you guys while I bring up my audio tracks. That's much too loud.
Suspense is killing me.
That's alright. You can fix that in post as well.
So we open up in darkness, as we so often do in this campaign, and in a collective dark vision.
I can see.
Stop it. In our collective dark vision, which is of course black and white in Dungeons and Dragons, we can see the image of what appears to be a hammock. And that hammock is gently swaying from side to side. We can see there's something weighing the hammock down, a figure. You can tell in the darkness that it's Ploopploopeens. He's lying in the hammock and he's facing towards the hull of the boat as it rocks gently back and forth. You can also hear the sound of sloshing water. There's a pool of water beginning to gather at the apex of this below deck area. And we can hear sounds like, what is that? Scratching? Scratching sound? I think I touched on this on the previous episode as well, if you go back.
Yeah, I was suspicious of that.
And we continue watching for a little while. We can hear the sound of muffled voices from the deck above. The scratching continues. We can see a dark patch. With our dark vision, we can't see what colour it is, but we can see a dark patch starting to form.
Patch is grey-blue.
In the hammock. We can see a dark version of Patch. It's like Dark Sonic the Hedgehog. It's Patch, but with a submachine gun and red eyes. It's very edgy.
Oh fuck. Okay,
yeah, I've run out of ideas. I'm just starting to rip off Sonic the Hedgehog now.
It's all good. So you said submachine gun and red eyes.
Yep.
That's gonna be Batch, and he's gonna be Patch's Tales from the Roguelite equivalent.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a redemption arc. You'll be enemies at the start, and then you guys will be friends towards the end and work together to take down the real bad guy, Thrash. Yeah. But we can see, we can see this dark patch starting to form in the hammock, and then we can hear the sounds of footsteps on the deck above, dun 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 dun, and some people start to make their way down the narrow flight of stairs. And as this is happening, we see Ploopploopeens. We hear that scratching sound stop, and then Ploopploopeens turns around and sits up on the hammock as you guys are coming down the stairs. Now, if I recall correctly, in the previous episode last week, we I think Thrash was the first person down the stairs, but we're just going to retcon that for the sake of tonight's episode. Someone else is the first person to come down the stairs.
We weren't all going downstairs, were we?
I think
it was Duranbalas, Verena, and Thrash.
That sounds right. So I'll let you guys choose who the first person is to come walking down the stairs. Well, I'll tell you what.
Let's roll
Thrash,
a D20 for it.
Thrash is still ahead of you guys, but as she reaches the bottom of the stairs, she takes a step off to the left, and she just sort of stops. And you, Duranbalas, you say you were going to be the next person down, or?
Sure. Wow.
If you want to, can you see?
I have a coin in my pocket.
Oh yes, your coin.
Let's say I take that out as I'm flipping it in my finger as I walk down.
Perfect.
You know.
Perfect. So, Duranbalas, you reach the bottom of the stairs, and you see the same thing that Thrash saw. You see Ploopploopeens, he's just sitting on the hammock, and he turns and looks towards you. There's something about the way that he's looking at you that sort of makes you just like stop, and you've got the coin out, so you can see like long shadows forming from like the hull of the boat, sort of thing, and you can just see Plooploopeen at the very back of the boat, just at the very edge, the very limits of the light cast by this coin. What do you want to do? What do you want to do here?
Could I sort of like look at this a little bit close? Hey, I need to know a couple of things here, because you heard there was water swishing around and some gathering at the front of the boat. Would my character wouldn't know that just walking down, right? So as my character walks down, as Drambulas walks down the steps, and he steps onto the bottom galley, does he step into like water or anything?
Yeah, you do. You step into once you reach the bottom stair, it's like a splash.
Like as soon as he takes that step, he would be saying like, "I think we might have a problem." And as he's flicking his coin up, he's sort of having a look out. Well, you know, how you flick a coin to like heads and tails, and he's kind of doing that. But he's looking forward. Can I see like any broken part of the ship or anything? Because I do recall we hit something, some stage.
Yeah. Roll a perception check for me. I'm just going to get you to roll that because your vision's very limited.
Yeah, no, that's...
We grazed some of those stalagmites as well, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I'll warn you, my rolls have been terrible, and there we go again.
What did you get there with that roll?
6.
Do I still have? Yes, I have that.
Which is fitting because it wouldn't be that light.
It's kind of hard to tell. You think maybe you can hear the sound of trickling water, but I mean you can hear the water sloshing around outside the boat as well. You can't really see anything. You could probably take a little bit of time to have a look around a little bit better, and you will definitely be able to take stock over a number of minutes and find if there is a leak. Like it's going to happen. As you are looking around, you see Plooploopeen sort of shift his weight and sort of step out of the hammock, and he's just standing now at the end of the boat, and Thrash is like, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to have anything to do with this. And she just walks around to the top part of the boat, and she just gets in the hammock and just instantly falls asleep. You can hear loud snoring coming from over there. Boom.
Am I down there at this point?
Yes, you probably would have come down the stairs as well.
With my vision, can I see anything?
With your dark vision, what are you looking for exactly? You're looking at Ploopploopeens. That's going to be the first thing that you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see. He's just standing like right at the back of the boat, and with your dark vision, you can actually see that the robes that he was wearing before, like the top half, are like in tatters, and you can just see, because you see in black and white. For all intents and purposes, think of like one of those CCTV cameras that has that black and white sort of vision. It's like super creepy. You can just see the top half of his torso is just like a black stain, and it's sort of running down his legs. And once you reach that bottom stair, you splash, and you look down, and you can see the water is dark as well.
Okay, I'm going to pull out my sword, and just like last time, I'm gonna hold it in front of me against his throat. Or the back of his neck if he's facing the other way.
So
just make sure that he's standing still.
You're at the stairs, right? And he's...
Yeah, I'll move forward.
You move forward?
Yeah.
When you take a step forward, as you start to approach him, he lifts something up. And you see it's that scepter that he had before, the one that he had that had the depiction of a woman with crayfish arms. But you can see it looks like it's been broken. Like the head has been snapped off of it, and you can see that has been discarded below the hammock where he was sleeping, and you can see it's just like a sharp end now, and he points it out towards you as you're approaching.
I'll get as close as I can to him.
He lets you
and just
approach.
yeah.
And you're now standing like face to face with him, and you can actually see now that staff that he's holding is like covered in this same darkness, and once you get closer you can see his chest is like covered in like cuts and scarring. I'll get you to roll a perception check for me.
Can do. Perception. Not great.
Not great, but it's enough. You're right, like up there. Your his scepter is sort of like binding with your sword as you approach him, and you can see he's sort of shaking, and he's like, "She was right. I was wrong." And as you approach, you can see, yeah, his chest, it seems to be he's carved something into his own chest. All that like darkness was his blood like running down and into the water that's gathering in the bottom of the boat, sort of stained it that colour of red. And he's like, he looks at you dead in the eyes, and he's like, "The Deep Father is here. I need to show my devotion." And now you see he's carved a very crude representation of that same altar that you guys saw of the Deep Father into his own chest. He's in bad shape.
Okay. Can I quickly cast Fairy Fire down here to try and light up the whole inside here so that Dranbalas has clear sight and we can properly see Ploopploopeens?
Yeah, dude. I'm not sure. Like, you're standing face to face with this guy, basically within striking range. You do have to think about how is he going to react to spells being cast or something like that. So you don't know if he's in a state, like what state of mind he's in. So
I'll lower my sword before casting it.
all right,
And try and do it like as subtly as possible.
Patch has candles. But I'm upstairs.
Don't you have the light spell as well?
No.
Nope.
I produce flame. which
I
can
have
use as
Fire
well.
Bolts, which I think is even worse than Fairy Fire right now.
yeah, just
Possibly a little overkill, seeing as we're on a boat.
set him on fire.
Yeah.
It's fine. It'll sort the problem out. That's what Patch does with his problems.
Produce flame, I can... Shut up. It's also the same thing I used to do that. I can just like hold that in my hand, so it's relatively safe.
I'm just gonna try and, not like stealthily, but like put my hands up so that he, knows this is just...
Give me a performance check.
Okay.
You can see he's unsteady at the moment. Unpredictable.
That's pretty good.
Alright, so you put your sword down, you take a step back. I'll let you describe how it looks when you're casting this spell.
Okay. She's going to, as she kind of lowers the sword to her side, she's going to pull out the little, one of the little tools from her smith's tools. Just kind of like flick it in her hand. And just like mutter as softly as possible before the light bursts out. It's going to be violet. That's like the calmest one, I guess. And everyone within 20 feet. No, everyone within 10 feet of me has to make a dex save.
Alright. A deck save. So that'll be you as well, Drunbalas, I believe. Alright.
Well, I thought I was looking at the front of the boat. But
First roll for the night. Natural 1.
Perfect.
Bark got a 5. He's sleeping.
He's sleeping too, so he's Bark's
Sorry, what are you
blissfully
rolling,
unaware
Con?
A deck save.
Dex.
about what's going on. Bark, you can still hear that snoring coming from that hammock.
I think it's probably about now he'd probably drop another one of those stinkers.
So, everyone in the area sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius.
They're having this really tense moment, and it's just.
and everyone in a 10-foot radius of Bark is affected by the stinking cloud spell.
So yeah, you cast a spell, and these violet, harmless flames creep up, like everyone's form, and it looks like basically like you're on fire, but these violet flames, and they don't necessarily, they do shed light in 5th edition, don't they? They do shed light, so they do shed a little bit of light, and you can now see him lit up properly, and you can see he's just
How far
covered.
is the light?
Everyone sheds 10 foot, but it should be contained to down here.
Yep. I'm just
You can
I
see
I set mine to 10, but it looks more like 15 or something.
he's covered from like these fish-like solar plexus all the way like down to like his stomach sort of area. He's covered in this thing that he's like scratched into his own body, and just blood all the way down, and you can see this water mixing with the blood at the bottom of the boat. And now with this light, Drunbalas, I imagine you're having a good look around a little bit. You can see there's if you're standing there looking towards the back of the boat, on your right hand side, you can see there's like a gash in the Zerkwood boards where you hit the stalagmite, and it's not bad. You're not in any threat of like sinking at the moment, but you can see some water like trickling down from it.
Yeah, so John Ballas would look across at them all, and he would just say, "You keep them in place. One moment, I've got this." And he would cast mending over towards the broken section of the boat, hoping that will repair the hole.
It's going to take you a minute, but
Yeah,
perfect
well,
use of the spell.
Alright, so yeah, Drunbalas, you start casting the spell. You would know it's going to take you a little while to cast it, so talk to me a little bit about what casting of mending is going to look like for you. Maybe have a look at like the components and all that kind of stuff, and just let me know what that looks like.
Yeah, sure. So, as far as trying to fix it magically from Dron Ballas's perspective, you can see him kind of trying to sort of manipulate things with his mind and his hand at the same time. He's moving the pieces with his mind, but he's sort of moving his hand as to where he wants it to go. He doesn't actually need to use his hands, but it's the way he's thinking through the process. And
Dude,
sort of
he's doing a Minority Report.
Yeah, totally.
I'm picturing him here, like literally, like picking up all of the splinters of wood that have been knocked in and putting them all back piece by piece by piece, like
very methodically.
Can we
He could probably
officially
do it quicker,
cast
but he's got OCD.
Drunbalas as Tom Cruise?
Yeah, totally.
That's a good get for us, Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So as far as components go,
2 lodestones apparently. Or do you have a spellcasting focus, or
I do. It's my staff.
Okay, all right. Well, you don't really need to worry about that too much then.
No. I guess he's got, while he's doing that with his hands, he's got his staff sort of on the like bottom of it's resting on the floor, and the top of it's like just leaning against the crook in his elbow while he kind of does all that. You can kind of sort of see from the tip of his staff just almost like a faint glow of light between the tip of the staff and his where his brain should be.
Mm-hmm. If Tom Cruise had one, but you see,
exactly.
you see little splinters, like Mark just said. I'm offending every celebrity out there at the moment, and I love it. You see these little splinters, like they rush through the water and up the side of the boat as you're doing this, and you can see one of these Oakwood boards as you're casting sort of lifts up on its own volition and presses up against the side of the boat, and the splinters fall into their original positions in this board as if nothing had happened, and it like. You see like a bent nail just sort of right itself and clank, staple it back into its original spot, and you see the water stop trickling down the side as you're casting that spell. But as you're casting, because it takes a minute to cast, Ploopploopeens is like, we should all prove our dedication to the Deep Father. I believe you. He looks towards you, Verena, and you, Dranbalis. You were heralds sent to me by the Deep Father to show me the error of my ways.
Yes, that's exactly what we are here to do. Who we are, and he is telling me that you need to sit back down and make sure that you don't hurt yourself anymore.
Roll a deception check for me.
Oh, that's so good.
I think while that's rolling, John Ballas would be saying, does anyone have a sleep spell prepared, just in case?
20. Well, believe it or not, you're actually quite persuasive. His religious fervour is blinding him to the truth. You wanted to say something, Mark?
Yeah, hey, Froth.
Yep.
Did you call that out? Like, loud enough for perhaps Patch out on the bow to hear?
Yeah, I was saying it out loud, like.
Yeah, but I'm upstairs, so how loudly? Like.
Oh, pretty loud. Like, you know when it's.
You probably hear Patch
yeah.
call out from upstairs. You just be like, "Oh yeah, I do."
And I'll let that deception finalize first. My apologies, Stretch.
Yes, but Ploopploopeens starts to drop the sharp edge of the snapped scepter. He's like, yes, you're his heralds. And he falls down to his knees like, tell me what the Deep Father has told you. How can I prove that I am devoted to him? How can I prove that my daughter didn't die in vain?
At that point, I'm going to call out to Patch and go, "Hey, Patch, yeah, you might want to come down here. Ploopploopeens needs something from you about what the Deep Father discussed." And as Patch is walking down the stairs, I'm winking, going.
Verena's gonna grab hold of her head as if she's in agony. And just be like, he tells me that you must guide us to safety.
Oh yes.
Yeah, are you getting words from the Deep Father again, Verena?
Oh yes, he only really speaks through me. I am his true vessel, and he is telling me that you must guide us to shore.
Guide you whence?
Well,
Where do we need to go?
We're currently taking a detour. But after we take the detour, please guide us to Blingdenstone.
Blingdenstone.
yes, so we can bring the Deep Father's message there.
Yes, his light must be shed. His tentacle appendage.
I want someone to. We're not live, but I want someone to clip tentacle appendage.
Okay, hang on. Make a note of the timestamp, and we can do that in post.
He stops, and you can see his eyes furrow as he's trying to think about Blingdenstone. As the DM stalls to find his notes.
In the meantime, I'm still there, just slowly reconstructing. It looks like it's from where it blew out from the impact. It's all just happening in reverse, but slow motion. And I sort of look across to you guys, and I'm like, just a little bit longer. We're nearly there.
Oh, I can help.
You're doing great.
That if you like. If Patch also casts mending, could we do it quicker?
If Verena also casts mending, can we do it?
Can it just be done?
I think Verena's got her hands full at the moment.
Yeah, no,
Oh yes,
it's fine.
I am busy.
Yeah, and I was mostly joking. I want to use my mending in an actual useful mending situation too.
It's all good. We can all heal Gadget.
Yes, true.
Ploopploopeens, his eyes are furrowed, and he's you can see he's thinking about I don't know Blingdenstone. Wait, and he reaches into the folds of what remains of his robes, and he pulls out what appears to be like a piece of leather parchment, like a thick leather parchment, and he unrolls it in his hands. With his shaking hands, he holds it out to you. Do you see Blingdenstone on this? And I'll show that to you.
We're getting to see a map.
Woo!
There you go.
Oh wow!
I didn't make this map. I was going to make this map, and then I googled it and found that someone else had already made it, and I was like,
"Yeah, look,
that's
I don't care that you didn't make it. This is the first time we've ever gotten to see a map of the overall area of where the hell we are."
I know, right?
Mm.
And Verena, I imagine you're the one who's looking at this map. You see all these names.
Oh God!
And you can't make heads or tails of what's what.
All right. Well,
yeah.
In that,
I will tell you.
I'd be looking over your shoulder at this very intently because, maps.
If you take a second to look, you do find Ploopploopeens quite clearly on the eastern portion of the map, somewhere near the middle of that.
Oh yeah.
And you can see that section where you guys travelled through, where the light show was. You can sort of see that is where you must have passed through, where there's two bits of ground that sort of converge.
Aren't we still sort of there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you'd be around there somewhere at the moment.
So Stoompaplood.
Yeah, something like that. And you see Ploopploopeens, he starts to rock back and forth, and he collapses over to one side.
Can I check his vitals?
Yeah,
Is he alive?
Give me a medicine check to see what the situation is looking like.
Are you any good at those? Because
No.
kind of my job.
Apparently I am.
Oh, well
Oh
done.
my god, you're good at everything tonight. Wow, I need
Gill
to
by gill.
borrow some of those rolls. That's amazing. Natural 20 for a medicine check. I can tell you everything about what's happening here. Yeah, no, he's still alive, but he's lost consciousness just basically from blood loss at this point.
Yeah.
And with that medicine check as well, I'll give you even a little bit more information, because with a natural 20, how could you not? You can tell he's definitely suffering from a type of madness of some sort. How you're going to deal with that, I don't really know, but you definitely felt that when you guys first witnessed the Demogorgon for yourselves, you guys struggled even, with dealing just with seeing that. Now, add to that situation the fact that he essentially killed his daughter. He now believes that his daughter was right. He's in a he's in a bad way. So
Yeah. I can't do anything about his mental state, but I do have a healer's kit, so Patch might just like noticing his wounds and stuff.
Patch him
I
up.
might, just step forward, and just be like, I can't help but do this stuff, but I can take care of that stuff. And he pulls out his kit and is like, I'll get to patching.
Kind of think that maybe this stuff is probably good for now. You know, he currently believes who we're not. And so it might be easier to, you know, get him to guide us and decipher this map.
Don't like being dishonest, but if we have to. But like, with the map, you know the terrain of the Underdark, right? You said you could navigate us from land. And that
Yes.
map looks like it has plenty of land.
Yes,
And
but this
I'm
map
pretty
isn't very detailed.
But like shapes of places and you know...
They all kind of look the same, though. They all kind of have stalactites, stalagmites. It's kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, that's Billingdon Stone.
Thinking of like relative distance between potential settlements and things. I mean, we could probably work together and figure it out. Like, I'm pretty good with maps.
Okay,
and you know
I
the
mean...
local area. So I think we let him sleep for a bit longer.
Oh yes.
And at the very least, like, if we know where we are in relation to where we just came from, we could go to the next nearest place and get more information there if he doesn't, you know. But also, we got this other place to check out, because the I don't know what to call them. They're not stars, but the
fake stars.
Well, fake stars. Understars.
Yes.
Drone Ballast, your spell
Sure.
is completed at this point.
So we've got this thing with the understars, which I think is where we should be going.
And that would give him time to rest. I think that's quite wise.
And while we're having this conversation, Patch is, you know, using his healer's kit to just make sure he's not going to bleed out in his sleep.
Alrighty. So what's the plan moving forward?
Well, I think whoever needs to rest
Long
that
rest.
hasn't, while Thrash is also resting, was going to do that, and then whoever doesn't need to was going to be above, and we're going to track this star thing first.
I would
Installation.
John Lucy didn't say. Oh, well, thank gosh for that. I thought that was going to be another episode. We should get this water out of the boat if we can, but I think for now, if perhaps you take the map up with you and you study it while you keep watch up top.
I mean, how much water do you think there is? Is it more than 10 gallons?
I have no idea how much a gallon is. I don't know. There's enough water to basically fill a few centimeters of the bottom of the boat.
Pardon me.
So it's not. It's
one
not like
gallon
threatening.
is 1 gallon. So about 38 liters is 10 gallons.
Sure, that sounds right. 2
Alright,
gallons.
So like, I could clear it with a spell, but we should probably not spend too much of that energy on mundane things. I think it's okay for now. Like, it's not gonna sink us. The hole's patched. If we get more holes, I can destroy some of the water.
Well, seeing as all the hammocks are taken, I would like to lay down somewhere, and preferably that wouldn't be in the water.
I see.
I do have standards.
Yes. Alright
If
then.
you were able to assist, would be greatly
Well-
appreciated.
No problem. Give me a moment. Just checking some things. Alright, so Patch is going to just reach into the pouch on his belt. He has a spellcasting focus, but he also has a component pouch for flavour. And he's gonna rummage around in there for a second, and then just take out a little vial of salt. and then pour a little bit out into his hand and put that back into the pouch, and then he's just going to kind of rub it between his fingers like this over his hand, in sort of like a little circular motion, so it's filling his hand and stuff. And then throw that over his shoulder as he mumbles a couple of words under his breath, and then flicks his hand back out towards the water, casting Destroy Water, and I'm going to destroy the water on the bottom of the boat.
And the water, of course, being constituent component is hydrogen, it just explodes because you've destroyed it.
Works.
Oh.
It's not how this works.
Okay.
No.
This is Dungeons and Dragons. I'm the DM. I say that's how it works. The boat explodes. You're all dead. Roll up.
We're all dead.
Roll up new characters.
Okay, I'll go and get old Rin ready to go.
Miraculously, Ploopploopeens survived though. No, yeah,
It was a
moving
water
forward.
explosion.
That's
That's a spell slot, so you can get a good night's sleep. Just so you know.
I would. Drambulas looks across at Patch and says, "That's quite an interesting spell. You must teach me about that one later. Let's discuss after we have a rest. I do appreciate your help."
I'm gonna stay upstairs and help navigate. But yeah, you get some rest, buddy.
Thank you,
Have
kind.
good, nice dry sleep.
I will now.
Verena, are you sleeping too, or are you staying up?
I would like to, but if there is an issue, I am probably the best to wake first.
Okay. And now
I'm feeling healthy. I'm just a little magically inept at the moment.
That's fine. That's why I needed to sleep too. So you go ahead. I'm going to go and keep watch with Jim Jar. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't Jim Jar need to sleep?
He's pretty.
No,
he
he
slept.
He slept.
I did, yeah.
He's pretty much alright.
Yeah.
In fact, Bark, as you guys are talking, you can hear the snoring stop, and you can see Bark's head pop out from the side of the
Yay.
of the hammock, having absolutely no idea about what just happened. He's like,
Yeah. Oh, hey,
Sniffs.
boy.
and he jumps down from the hammock. He doesn't splash into the water because the water exploded in a hydrogen explosion. But he sort of sits down.
Wait. Sorry. Hydrogen explosion from using Destroy Water, right?
Yeah, sure.
I think I'd figure out how to kill the Demogorgon. Sorry, go on.
It's only stat block. He's immune to all damage types, so that's not going to work.
Including atomic bombs.
He sits
So
there,
we need a banishment spell.
including atomic bombs. He's kind of like Godzilla. But his tongue lolls out as he sort of sits there and he looks at you with a bit of a renewed vigor, sort of in his eyes.
Cool. Well, I'll call him over and give him a bit of a pat.
He walks
And
over to
then,
you, sits down next to you to allow you to scratch behind the ears.
Yeah, and then I'll reach into his bags, which I did have my bags up near the hammock that I was in, so I think I'll just his would be nearby, say under the stairs or something. So I'll reach in there, and I'm not going to put them back on him, but I'm going to reach into his bags and pull out some feed for him, give him a food.
As you're
Probably got
rummaging around, you see Bark start sniffing the air, and then he plods over towards the back of the boat again, and he goes over to the unconscious form of Ploopploopeens lying on the ground. He's bandaged, or he's getting bandaged up, I imagine, and he's just like sniffing Ploopploopeens. Like you can probably smell the blood on him. He's like licking him.
Sorry, I was just waiting to see how much more you were going to get him to do there. That was like, well, no one's going to drag that out. Now, so I think yeah. So Patrick's like, yeah, that's a good boy. He's okay, but he needs some rest. Do you want to stay here and look after him? Keep an eye on him. Make sure he's okay.
Sits down. Lies down next to Ploopploopeens.
Yeah, good boy. And then I'll head on up the stairs.
You head upstairs. Jim Jar is there on the tiller. The rest of you guys bed down for a
Also,
rest.
Oh,
yeah, Gadget will stay up top as well,
Yeah.
keeping an eye out.
I'll come back down the stairs for a second. Oh, Lady Verena, sorry. I don't mean
Yes.
to disturb yours. Can I get that map for now, and I'll see what sense Jimjar can maybe make of it, and we'll see if we can figure things out.
Of course, yes. Just, maybe mark around it when you've worked out some translations.
Yeah, I'll try and make a copy in Common or something.
Okay, yeah, that should work.
Okay.
I've left Gadget in your care.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't let them die.
I won't. Keep an eye on Bart for me. He's gonna
Of
keep
course.
an eye on Ploopploopeens. Okay, thank you.
So you would imagine now, Patch, a little bit of time, you can probably reasonably expect with enough time maybe to make a serviceable translation of the map, but it will take some time. What I do want to talk about is while you're asleep, Verena, what does Gadget normally do while you're sleeping? Is there a standard operating procedure or?
Gadget's standing operating procedure is just to keep an eye on surroundings, to make sure that nothing happens to Verena and the space around her.
All right. I'll
Yeah.
While you're asleep, I'll just allow you to sort of flavor text what Gadget's doing while this stuff is happening. So yeah, you reach the top deck, Patch, and you look around. You see Gadget on the deck. You see Jimjar sort of on the tiller, and you look around. You can just see pretty much what you see in the artwork. There's just these massive sort of stalagmites and stalactites. Just sort
We've
of
still got
dotting.
the understars going on.
No, that's come to an end already, like a little while ago now.
So, in order to follow those constellations, do we have to go back, or what's the go? We were going to try and track, use the map to navigate to that spot as well.
You can't really do any more than what you've already done. You've copied it down now. You would just have to make the best of what you've got and try and record your progress so that you have some idea of your relation into the.
Okay, yeah. So that gave us a
Constellation.
glimpse as to that, and so I've got my starting point where we are, and now that I've got this other map, that I can maybe use that to correlate as well.
Potentially.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
so, yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah. All right. Sweet.
What do you
Well,
tell Jimjar anything, or shall we just?
Yeah. I'll wander back over, and I'll just be like, "Oh, hey, buddy, we got a map from Ploopploopeens, but it's all in Ploop. But
It's
here,
inside of him.
No, it's
How
it's
did you
in
get
his
it
map.
out?
He gave it to us.
Actually, don't tell me. I don't really want to know. Is everything all right down there?
Yeah, they're all resting.
Right.
But so here, take a look. All the place names are in his language, I'm guessing. But I think between maybe my star map and maybe if you have some knowledge of the lay of the land around Lindenstone, and we can see where we're here now, and that's Ploopploopeens. Maybe we can use this to help us get to the next place, get some more information, or if you can recognize anything that might be Blindenstone, we could head that way. But anyway, we've got a map now, so
you guys sort of pore over these maps as you're going along. I'm going to roll a check for Jimjar and see if he's able to aid you. So let's give a just intelligence or wisdom.
Would be survival, right? So wisdom.
We'll go with Wisdonies. So he got a natural 15. So roll with advantage.
On survival?
Yeah, survival will do.
Alright. What do we got there? Oh, 11. And that was with a 5 and a 1.
Alright, 11. even like talking to Jim Jar, he lets you know that he's never really travelled the Darklake, so he doesn't really know necessarily the relation between the different locations, especially on the map. They're in a different language that he doesn't understand, and also your knowledge of the he'll tell you. In fact, like he's like well, I don't know much about the Kuatoa. I've never travelled the Darklake myself, but what I do know about them is that they're known to be some of the best ferrymen across the Darklake. No one knows the Darklake like they do. In fact, it's the only reason why the Kuatoa are allowed to sort of live. Otherwise, they would have been wiped out a long time ago by maybe the Drow, maybe the Grey Dwarves. They know the waterways so well that everyone relies on their ability to travel them. Now, I've never heard of a map of the Darklake before. They don't need them, for the most part, so I'm surprised he had one.
Maybe if we head towards like the nearest, what looks like another town, and see if we can find some more Kuatoa that might be a little bit more, with it than this guy.
The one thing that I do know is that I know the general layout of where, Blingdenstone and Gracklestug and Neverlight Grove in relation to where Velkenvelve was. So I know that if we keep heading in this general direction, we're going to find ourselves somewhere at some point. But with this map, we might be able to get a bit of a better idea. Now, Mark, while you can't necessarily nail down a direction where you want to go at the moment, but you are making progress on getting that map translated. But moving forward, a few more hours pass, and it's sort of uneventful for the most part. But you do notice.
I think if we're sailing and time's passing,
yep,
I would have moved up to here so I can get it stand up on the prow, not like up on it, but stand at sort of that point at the front, so I can keep a good eye out in front. And Jimmy Jar's got enough dark vision to watch our rear.
But it does take quite a bit of time. There's hours passing at this point. So we're just going to go off your passive perception as opposed to like a perception roll. But what you do notice eventually, and you notice this before you hear or see anything, the boat starts to pick up a little bit of speed. The currents start to pick up a bit, and as you're traveling along, then you can start to hear the sounds just very faintly of like rushing water. It's the first time you've heard this. What do you want to do?
Hey Jim Jar, can we slow up? The water's starting to pull us, and it's rushing up ahead. I can hear it. We might have a waterfall.
Yeah, sure, mate. I'll pull the handbrake.
Well, I'll just turn us. I don't know. Like, I don't know how boats work.
Well, we're kind of at the mercy of the current here. Not much I can do.
Okay. Might want to try throwing that anchor over just to see if it slows us up a little bit.
Well, I mean, feel free to do that, unless you want to take over the tiller.
No. Boom, 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 boom. And then I'll toss the anchor over.
You toss the anchor over, and I'll, you know what, I'm going to roll a d20 here, get a better idea about what happens.
Right.
You toss the anchor over, and I'm assuming that you want to slow the boat down. After a couple of seconds, you can feel the rope like jerking back and forth for a second, and then all of a sudden the boat starts to pick up more and more speed, but the rope snaps taut, tung, and as that happens, the boat sort of lists towards one side as the current keeps trying to pull the boat, and it pulls it right 180 degrees, so that the rear end is now facing the way that the current is sort of trying to drag the boat, and the anchor is just sort of holding it there.
Yep. Okay. Well then, head up to the back of the boat and see if I can get a better look at what's going on up ahead, like an actual, like I'm having a good suss now.
All right. Give me a perception check.
Yep. Percepciones. 15.
15. Good enough. Just at the edges of your vision, you can see where the river narrows, and because the anchor is taut now, you can tell that while it's narrowing, it's not getting any deeper at the same time, as opposed to when you went through that narrow area earlier. Because it got deeper, it meant that not as much water had to rush through a narrower spot. So it's just it's picking up speed because it's getting narrower, and more water has to, more literage has to pass through that same sort of area.
Bernoulli's theorem.
Hey?
That's called Bernoulli's theorem.
Ah, I learned something this evening. Excellent. Thanks, guys.
I learned something too. I probably already have been told that, but it wasn't D&D related, so I pushed it out of my head.
Yeah, forgot all about it.
That's right.
At this point, so Patch would just be like, okay, it just looks like it gets narrower up ahead, and like, not, the water's getting faster.
Jim Jar's like up next to you, sort of having a look now as well, and he's like, all right, yeah, okay. Well, I think we've got two options here. That? We could probably navigate through it. We might be okay. The only other option that we've got at this point is to see if we can use the oars and try to pull us out of this. But it could set us back a little bit. We'd have to go right around.
Yeah, I think we try and go through.
All right. Shall we wake up the others, or just you and me, bud? Just you and me, eh? Should we make a bet?
What are we betting on?
Okay. What do you got?
Not much. Let me see. Let's look through my pockets for a minute, and then he's like...
Pulls out a ball of lint.
Like, candles, bandages, herb gathering things, water, food. Yeah, nothing really. I could owe you a favor.
Oh, could always do with a favor. You take double shift on the next watch?
Okay.
Alright.
And if I win?
I'll take double shift on the next watch.
Okay, so what are we betting on? What's the bet?
Let me think. That's a good question. I'll bet you...
How long it takes Pat and Verena to kill each other?
You're on. So we do an over-under?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'll say, 2 days, and you just say over or under.
Over, because I'm going to try and make sure they don't kill each other.
No, if we're going to make a bet, you can't be influencing the outcome.
Oh.
That's called cheating.
I need to make a roll here for myself. Oh dear. Oh. Okay, better than I thought. Patch is just going to be like, Actually, can you roll deception on Jim Jar and tell me if he beats 13?
Deception. Sure thing, buddy.
So I think he's trying to con Patch into something Patch isn't really,
15.
Yeah, Patch is like, okay, deal. Over.
Alright, got yourself a deal. Alright, how are we going to do this?
Alright, so I'll pull up the anchor, and then I can give you a little bit of an edge on your steering abilities and things like that, a little bit of a magical boost. And then we aim for in there, and we hold on.
Aim for in there and hold on. It's not the first time I've heard that. Alright, bring up the anchor, I'll get on the tiller, let's do this.
Alright, before we do that, and I'm just going to reach out and put my hand on his shoulder and just be like, luck be with you, friend.
Hey.
And cast guidance on him.
Consent, Patch. Consent.
It's a spell. I said I was going to cast. Actually, no, I don't. It's a touch spell. I told him I was going to give him some magical assistance. He said, "Yep, that's." He knows I touch people when I cast spells on them.
Well, he feels touched. And later on, Well, I'm going to roleplay this out with Verena. He's going to show on an anatomically correct adult where you touched him. So,
On the shoulder. I said the shoulder specifically.
yeah, but you know you're a furbolg.
I mean,
Good. Who knows?
yeah,
what
the size of my hands, that was probably his shoulder, half his arm, and half his face. Because he's tiny. But anyway.
All right. So you
and then once I've done that, I'll start hauling up the anchor.
pulling up the anchor. As soon as you pull up the anchor, Jim Jar pulls hard on the tiller towards the left, and the boat lists all the way around. And as it gets around facing the direction of the current, he pulls back hard again, and you guys sort of enter into this sort of narrower section. And as you do so, you can see the water picking up speed, and of course, you along with it. And after a while, you can sort of see like water spraying up from rocks on either side of this passage. As the current gets more and more rough, you can feel the boat starting to list towards the left and the right as you're going along. And Jimjar's like doing his best to hold on to the tiller to keep it from like smashing up against the rocks in like this treacherous currents. I'm going to get a dex check from Jimjar to be able to control the boat. How are you assisting him?
So I guess I'll jump on the tiller with him, following his lead, because like I don't really know what I'm doing. I just want to add my strength to whatever he's trying to do. So whichever way he goes, I'll go with him.
All right.
Kind of thing. If he needs to hold it in place, I'll help him hold it. But also, I have cast guidance on him, so he should have an extra D4 as well.
Okay, so we get an extra D4. He's not going to get his proficiency bonus on this because he doesn't have proficiency with water vehicles, but he will be making a dex check to see if he can sort of...
because I'm helping?
With advantage because you're helping. So we'll just go straight dex. We'll go...
Let's go. Hopefully I don't get us all killed.
With advantage. So a natural 2.
Oh.
And a natural 17.
Thanks for that.
Alright.
Plus his dex, plus the D4.
Plus a D4, yeah. I won't worry too much about it, but because he makes it. But that's he's sort of working together with Jimjar with your further dark vision. With your 300 dark vision, you could sort of anticipate obstacles a lot earlier than he can. So you assist him sort of navigate the boat through, but it's starting to pick up speed. Let me roll something here. Alrighty then, I'm going to need another check. You're still assisting him with that one?
Yep.
Alright, so... advantage. No extra D4 this time. Still makes it with your assistant.
I can... Oh, yeah, I was going to say, if he wasn't going to make it, I could always recast guidance and turn it into a cantrip.
I'm going to say it takes an action, right, to cast guidance?
Yes.
I'm going to say if you want to cast guidance, you can cast guidance, or you can assist him with this.
Okay, better off assisting than...
Yeah, it's probably better off assisting.
Yeah.
Whereas you did it earlier, you did it before you actually...
As we were starting, yeah.
Now
we're in the middle of a...
What's Gadget doing? Because now the boat's starting to quite violently rock from side to side as they're sort of manoeuvring in between these rocks. Ali? Unmuted.
Sorry, what was that?
So what's like the boat's starting to violently rock from side to side as they're like dodging obstacles and rocks and all this kind of stuff. How does Gadget react?
Gadget... I think Gadget's just gonna try and hold on as best as possible. Maybe even starting to head towards the little hatch that goes downstairs. So that they can make a quick duck down underneath if it looks like it's gonna get too volatile.
Okay. Alright, no problem. Everyone downstairs is still soundly sleeping, but the boat is starting to rock quite violently from side to side. I'm going to need another check from Jim Joe here with advantage. Alrighty, here we go. Natural 2 and a natural 9. Unfortunately, this time you miss something, or you see it coming, but you're just not able to maneuver the boat away in time, and the boat scrapes up against the walls of the cabin. Boom! Violently hitting the side, and it's going to take. Let's have a look here. 8. I need to have a pen and paper here. There you go, you'll do. So it's going to take 8 points of damage. You can hear like splintering as the boat hits the side, and I imagine that probably is going to be enough to wake you guys up who are downstairs. If you want to wake up, it's up to you.
Should we roll for it?
Yeah. Yeah. Roll a perception check.
Right here.
How deeply do you sleep?
I've been up for a while.
I think Thrash with her insomnia would just be out.
Yeah, Thrash is just
Like,
out.
She's out. Yeah. By the way, with Bark having slept for so long, does he lose his exhaustion that he had?
Yes, his exhaustion is cleared. With an 11 and 11, Jesus, you guys rolled the same thing here.
Wow.
It's less than the. What's the damage? It was 8 points of damage. You got more perception than it did damage. No, I'm going to say that you probably don't notice just yet. Yeah, I'm going to go with that ruling because I'm weird.
Okay.
Another check from Jim Jar. Do you change anything that you're doing? Touch?
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Was that a hint from the DM?
No, of course not. You do whatever you want to do. I just wanted to see if this changes your strategy at all.
Just thinking. I mean, maybe if I spend more attention on, like, watching for obstacles that we're having to steer around so I can see them sooner, giving him more time to maneuver around.
Alright, roll a... Well, no, because I wasn't getting you to roll anything before, so basically it's just going to have the same effect for all intents and purposes. So you make your way up to the front of the boat there, and you're going to start calling out.
Probably on the way over, I'll glance over the side and see if I can see how bad that damage is. Like, do we have a great big gaping hole in the side, or is it just scraped a little bit?
It looks like it's just scraped a little bit for the time being. It doesn't look like you're going to sink, but it has done a little bit of damage here.
Yep.
Right,
cool.
let's have a look. Another check. One of these
Come on, Jim.
first. Alright, another check with advantage. Alright, you're good. He manages to make it through the next section without damaging anything, but it's a close call as he narrowly avoids like a big obsidian rock which is jutting out from the middle of this waterway. He definitely pulls the tiller to the side and manages to almost drift past it.
Nice.
Alright, another one of these. Another one of these. Alright. Just doing a few rolls here just to see what the situation looks like. Alright. I know it's thrilling stuff. So you managed to make your way, for the most part, unaccosted. You can see the end is now in sight, about 300 feet away at the edge of your dark vision, and you call that out to him, and he's distracted for a second, and the boat scrapes up against like a rock which was hidden just below the surface of the water, and the whole thing sort of lists to the side, and you're up the front of the boat, so I'm actually going to need a dexterity saving throw from you.
At all, I'm really, really good at these. 10.
10. Alright. 10 is enough. You catch yourself before you're knocked overboard.
Yay.
Alright. The end is now in sight. I'm going to need another check from Ginger. There we go. And for the rest of this, he sort of makes good on being able to navigate the rest of these sort of currents, and eventually the water starts to slow down as the passage begins to open back up again a little bit, and the boat starts to come to a close. You do know that the boat has taken a little bit of damage at this point. Whether or not it's going to be significant damage or not, you're just going to take a little bit of time to think about it.
Yeah.
But it slows down.
Once we're safe, I might just go with Jim Joe and just be like, I might go down and check the damage. Good job, buddy. We did well.
All right. Look, my hands are shaking. Don't make me do that again.
Okay. You keep an eye out and see if you can find maybe some land. I don't know. I'll go and check the hole.
I'm going to say that a couple of those hits was probably enough for you guys to sort of be like knocked, maybe not awake, but you're sort of aware of what's going on around you. Not enough to disturb your long rest if you're still having a long rest, but it was enough.
I'm going to head downstairs and investigate, the damage and see how bad it is, and see if a mending spell or two might fix it up, or if we've got, we do a bit more than that.
Yeah, you get downstairs. Roll an investigation check for me.
Mm-hmm. I'm equally as good at this. I've got a 14.
Yeah, 14 should be enough here. You have a look around, you can see again there's water like pouring in from gaps on the side, but the damage is now like more significant than it was earlier. There's some water starting to pool at the bottom of the boat again. The mending spell's probably not going to be enough. It might help you out, but you're probably going to need to do some sort of check, and you're probably going to need to do it quickly.
What kind of check?
Well, I will need a good question check. I'm going to say a... what would be good here? What would be good? Survival? Yeah, let's go with survival. It's sort of like a catch-all, isn't it?
So what am I doing with this? Like maybe a combination of melding and finding what mending and finding what scraps of wood I can around the place to patch holes and things like that.
Well,
have shit like that.
You tell me. Tell me what you got. Tell me what you're doing, and I'll let you know.
I reckon a combination between using mending for the smaller stuff, and then any of the bigger holes that I know that's just going to take too long. Most boats, as far as I know, like pirate ships and things like that, you'd have spare wooden planks and nails and hammers lying around in places so you could patch holes if you happen to cop something. So I try and find some of that as quickly as possible.
All right.
And just manually patch the big holes, and then for my mending, I'd just grab like a sprig of mistletoe out of my component pouch, which acts as a spellcasting focus for druids, and then I kind of like just wrap that in my fingers and then place my other hand against the wood, and mutter a couple of words, and you'd see a greenish glow. Sorry, it'd be a light bluish glow because it's I'm the stars druid. Happen in the mistletoe, and then a similar glow from my hand, and then that would sort of spread through the wood, and the small patches would just start to regrow.
Okay.
The wood would just grow back together, in that kind of place. Just for the small stuff, and then other ones I'm gonna dump.
And while that's going on, if you're having a look around, you do actually find some supplies in that chest, which is upstairs.
Yeah.
Just some small bits and pieces, like some weird, like waxy substance and some small planks and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and it's enough for you to be able to try and make an attempt at mending this. Give me that
Alright.
survival check.
Coming. 24.
24.
18.
It's pretty goddamn good. So, in conjunction with your mending spell and these supplies that you found in that chest, you're able to patch the damage and stop the flow of water and all that kind of stuff. And I imagine you destroy the water and whatnot, and it's gone. But
Well, I'm not going to spend another fucking spell slot on it.
well, that's entirely up to you. But what you do notice while you're working is that the boat is sort of, even though it's been repaired,
Yeah, it's like...
it's listing to the side, and everything's sort of uncomfortable now. It's sort of leaning to the left, and you hear Jimjar call out to you from above. He's like, "How's everything going? Is it all right? We're listing here."
It's, well, I've patched the holes, but... actually, I'll come back upstairs so I don't wake everyone up. I've patched the holes, but there's still some water down there.
I'll tell you what, even with your 24 survival check, I'll tell you this: you've done the best you can on the outside of the boat, but there's still significant damage on the outside of the boat, which is why it's listing over to one side. And if you want to repair that, you're probably gonna need to pull over somewhere.
Okay, yeah. So I've done what I can on the inside, but we gotta fix the outer hull too. So we might need to find somewhere to shore up, see if we can find a, beach. You know, like a shoreline where we can make landing and patch the rest of the boat.
Okay, yeah, no worries. He sort of leans over to the side and he looks down the side. Is everyone still asleep?
Yeah. Actually, I should have asked this. Drambalis is in a couple of inches of water now. Is he still asleep?
I don't know. Is he?
Yeah, I'm asking.
I'll roll for it.
Yeah,
What do you
sure.
want, perception again?
Yeah, perception seems to make the most sense.
Go to a con save to stay asleep while you're wet.
You're so awake.
Oh,
You're
man,
awake.
I'm dirty.
You were just doing
Okay.
lines. That's how awake you are.
Lines of water.
Um,
Oh, lines of Darklake water. Ew.
I think as before you went back upstairs, you would have noticed something a bit strange, like almost like some flashes in the background, because it was pretty dark down there, and almost these little sort of like sparkles and glows, and you can hear like a crackle. And you turn around and you look at Drunbullis, and he's like, and as he sort of breathes out, the ends of his nostrils just got a little sparks sparkling around the edge of it, like he's dreaming about magic and shit like that. Then he's, what's going on here now? Oh gosh, no! Again? Can't. What's a dragon got to do to get some sleep around here?
I like how he's turned southern.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things. You've had enough time here to take a short rest if you want to take a short rest, or you can go back to sleep if you can find somewhere more comfortable and try and continue a long rest.
You could sleep up on the deck.
Yeah.
It's dry up there.
I think that's going to be the plan. So he'd walk up to the top deck and probably prop himself up against this tidy little box here, and probably grab a little bit of rope to use as a pillow and go back to sleep.
Alright.
Is Verena able to keep sleeping underneath?
You're in a hammock, right? So you should be high and dry.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just
Yeah.
wanted to double check.
I think you're okay.
Awesome.
Ploopploopeens back in his hammock as well. His bloodstained gross hammock.
Yeah, we swap him over with Bart.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, he was in. Yeah, Verena, you're currently in the bloodstained gross hammock.
Get
You want
in.
to
Yeah.
switch over into the other one?
Unless you
Yeah.
want to bathe in his blood, you are a drow.
I mean,
I don't mind. I would be in whatever one is available.
Okay, roll a Constitution saving throw to see if you get fish AIDS. Is that? It's a bit dark.
That's
Sorry.
terrible.
Poor fish.
What about Bark?
Hey, he was promiscuous in his younger days, right?
Who, Bark?
No,
Bark is
Ploopploopeens.
yeah, but Bark is promiscuous and is still in his younger days.
Is Bark still down the bottom?
Yeah. Patch told him to, or asked him to just chill out and keep an eye on Ploopploopeens.
So I've got like this image in my head that while everyone else is sleeping, Bark's just like
Having his
jumping
way.
around and pacing on the water and playing around like,
That's
100%. Yeah,
That's much
100%.
nicer than what I was picturing when Mark said that Bark was promiscuous. I thought he was jumping up in the hammocks and just sort of,
I mean,
trying to make
maybe
baby
a
Barks.
there may be a little bit of that without the trying to make baby Barks part. Like he might occasionally jump up into a hammock and just like lick someone and then jump back off and go splashing in the water again.
All right, so yeah, no, Drambalis, yeah, you see Bark sort of jumping around in the water, his tongue lolling about, and he's like, almost like, you know that thing that dogs do when they jump up on two legs and then like splash down with their front two legs? He's doing that down there, but the whole boat's sort of listing to one side as well, and Patch, you see Drambalis coming up the stairs.
Hey, buddy. Sleeping.
I'm gonna try and go back to sleep here next to this crate.
Okay.
Yeah, you know I'm a blue dragonborn, right?
Oh.
It's like lightning. I don't go well
Yeah.
with water.
Yeah.
I gotta
Sorry.
stay dry and hang out up here. That's alright, guys.
I patched, yeah, that's fine. I patched it as best I can, but if I keep casting spells to get rid of the water, we could be in some trouble later. So if you don't mind sleeping up here, we'll be quiet unless there's trouble.
Is the boat gonna be okay?
Well, yeah, we're gonna find a place to land and do some proper repairs, but we'll be okay for now.
Alright, well wake me if shit gets scary, alright?
Okay.
All right.
Right, fella.
Moving forward, a number of hours pass again, and say 2 more hours or something like that before Patch, you can see there's like a small island that sort of, because most of it's like sheer vertical walls where you are at the moment, but up ahead you can see there's like a small island, and you call out to Jim Jar, and he's like, all right, that's just as good as played as any, I suppose, and he sort of steers the boat over towards this island, and as you approach, I imagine you throw down the anchor, and when you get close enough, you can see this island is made up of mostly like dirt as opposed to like sharp stone or something like that, and you pull up next to this island, and the boat comes to a stop, just sort of like that. For Dranbalas and Verena, go ahead, tick off a long rest, and then we're just going to go, well, I'm just going to go for a quick break, grab some water, and we're back. We're back with more Out of the Abyss action, and as promised,
We have a grace.
the ritual summoning has completed. The sphere of protection against evil was a success, so she has been encapsulated at her computer screen. She can't get out and hurt you, but she can play Dungeons and Dragons and Out of the Abyss. So for that, we are eternally grateful. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I have come for your immortal souls as well as those nat 20s. Preferably the nat 20s before your immortal
Gonna
souls.
say you can have one of those things.
Yeah, hey Grace.
Yeah.
See the colour of mine and Sven's beards?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're a bit red.
No.
We don't have souls for you to take, I'm sorry.
But Froth and Ali still have souls. Guys, help me out here.
Do they, though?
Oh, don't
That's
tell me
questionable.
Like, if
Don't
they
tell
do...
me Cthulhu got to you before I did. This is mess.
Well,
We'll have to
freaking
find out
worst
more of the
demon lord
backstory to
ever.
answer that one.
Yeah, exactly. Find out more next week on Curtain Maze.
You're not the only one in the Soul Collection business around here, so you might have some competition for them.
Yeah, look, there is a pecking order. Obviously, you know, Satan, and then the Deep Father, and then Cthulhu. And, you know, it just goes down and down to minor level demons like myself.
Like you.
Just trying to make a living.
Speaking of the Deep Father, as far as Ploopploopeens concerned, Verena is the vessel of the Deep Father.
Oh yes,
we all are his emissaries.
We all
and
knew
Verena,
that.
and he speaks to Verena.
Yeah.
I can help out with that to give you a break if you like.
No. She's enjoying it too much.
All this talk.
The power's gone
All
out.
the Deep Father and demons. My cats are like killing each other in the background. I don't know if anyone can hear that.
Yeah, no.
Thanks.
Also, Grace, Jim Jar and Patch has made a little bet.
Right.
I'm not going to give you the details of said bet exactly.
Right.
You'll just have to watch this
Suffice
live.
to say, yeah. You might be finding a little less of Patch trying to restrain Thrash over the next couple of days.
Interesting.
Only because he's
See-
not allowed to under the terms of the arrangement.
A bargain has been made.
I like this. I like this arrangement. But I'm not going to use it against you because obviously I don't know this. But
Yeah.
let's be honest, Verena would have to make Thrash angry enough. And I've already promised you, and we're solid. And, look, and
that's what Patch is relying on.
yeah, we're solid. And don't forget, you had something you had to ask me. And look, it's a floof. Look at the floof. Oh my god, it has mittens. It has mittens.
Kittens.
Has mittens.
Are you tired of your cat loudly banging around at night time? Get mittens.
Get it mittens. Mittens for
I'm
your kittens.
Not editing that out, by the way. That's staying in. Alright. What did I miss out on?
Just
Nothing.
catching Grace up.
Okay.
We continued sleeping, hit some rocks. The boat's now listing to one side. We found an
pulled up on an
island to, figure out what we do about it.
Make some emergency repairs. Alright, amazing. Let's just fucking pick it up from there.
Yep.
Holy shit, I am covered in
going?
cut here.
I suppose the first thing to do would be make sure the island is safe. Would be my assumption.
Alright,
That's
so...
probably
I've got to
wise.
wake up. Have I
So,
had a long rest yet?
Yeah.
Well, everyone
I
else
rested?
has. Has Thrash had enough? She went to sleep first, so probably if everyone else is all good.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, sick.
yeah, you've had a long rest now. You're fine.
Yay,
what I
I've
will
rested.
do is-
Long
When you step out of the hammock, your paws are going to immediately hit a couple of inches of water.
Okay, how close are you guys to the boat?
I mean, like, haven't left yet.
Okay.
I'm still
So as Thrash, obviously she's had a very restful night's sleep compared to normal. She rolled a 17 out of 20, so she's like pretty well rested. As she rolls out of bed, she doesn't even look. She was just gonna like roll straight out. And she like her knees hit the floor, and you guys just hear, "What in the holy ever loving fuck have you done to my boat?"
Well, hold on. Right there, cowboy, because I need another Constitution saving throw from you before we continue on.
Why? Is it because it's water? I got another 17. Am I okay?
That's without even adding your con modifier.
Oh
your
yeah, I
proficiency.
should probably add my con. That would help.
Yeah.
18, 19, 21.
Plus, do you have proficiency in con saves as a barb or not?
I do.
yeah,
Actually. What does
add
proficiency do again?
+2 at this stage, I think.
Oh, well, that's 3. It's already added to it, isn't it? On D&D Beyond, they already add.
well, yeah, but you just rolled a d20, not a
Yeah, so
not a
+3
concept.
with my proficiency would make it.
You only have
18,
+1 con
19.
mod.
Yeah.
Oh, Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then remember we've discussed this. She's
right, we have
we've discussed this. She's not
glass
Connie.
cannon.
Yeah, I built her to be breakable.
Yeah.
I built her to because I was planning on rolling lots of frenzy checks. Because that's containing her anger. That's the way I see Con as well. It's not only like physical, it's mental.
Yeah.
Alright,
So
I'll tell you what happens here. Because when you
Oh,
wake up,
great.
Thrash, you feel you're hot and cold, you're sweating, you feel clammy, you have got enough rest. You don't feel like it's affected your rest at this point. But wait, let me have a look at this. Oh no!
I feel like Sarah would be really handy about now.
You have one level of
you know
exhaustion. You have one level of exhaustion, and you didn't need to make a con save on that one. Sorry, that was incorrect from me. You've already made the con save, so this is already happening. You have one level of exhaustion. Your sleep wasn't quite as good as you wanted it to be, because you're suffering from fatigue and cramps. And on top of that, you can feel that your body just isn't as effective at restoring hit points. For all intents and purposes.
Oh what? How do I get rid of it? How do I make it stop?
Well, I'm
wanna make it
just
stop.
surprised at this point. It's been a while since I've been describing this, that no one has done a medicine check on you or has at all shown any type of concern about what's happening. But that's how you feel when you wake up. So you have one level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Do keep that in mind. And you're feeling
I always have one level of exhaustion.
really, really terrible.
It's just normal at this point. Well, I was trying to hide it, to be honest. I did roll pretty well to hide it the other night, so that's probably my fault. But anyway, yep, so she'll roll out of bed and say, "What the fuck have you done in my boat?" And she'll walk upstairs, and I think she'll try a little bit, let's not mean metagaming, but you obviously described that she's less effective at restoring hit points, so that's pretty... She's not well. So I don't think Thrash is going to make any attempt to hide how sick she is now. Like, she'll just let... Like, normally she'd, like, hide the shivers and hide the chills a bit more, but she's going to come up shivering and stuff. She's going to be like, "Bloody hell, it's cold up here."
Crash, you don't look so good.
Well, that's just mean. I'm fine.
No, I mean you look like you're maybe not well. Do you want me to take a look?
Sure. Fine.
Okay, come and sit down over here on this box. Try not to wake Dranbal if he was resting.
I'll stand, but sure.
Okay, and I'll get my healer's kit out and, start running some tests.
All right.
Like very, very official proper tests, like here, put this under your tongue and say and things like that. Like
a little flashlight out.
Yeah, 100%. So rolling medicine. Boom! I know exactly what's wrong with her. I got a
Natural
26 off and that 20.
Delicious.
She's suffering from 2 diseases.
Oh Jesus!
First of all, she's suffering from sewer plague. It's a generic
Is that
term.
from back in the rot fence?
So yeah, it's a generic term from that like covers like a broad category of illnesses, but they all have sort of the same thing. You can get it from like stagnant water, sewers, that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's transmitted by the bite of creatures, rats, otyughs,
nice.
mosquitoes.
There we go. Mosquitoes.
Or just
fence.
coming
Yeah.
into contact with like gross stuff. For all intents and
Any of that.
purposes, maybe an open wound when you touch something. But basically, mechanically, she's going to have to roll a Constitution saving throw every time she long rests. Symptoms include fatiguing and cramps. They suffer 1 level of exhaustion to start off with, and she's only going to regain half the normal number of hit points from spending hit dice, and no hit points from finishing a long rest.
Oofed.
And this is going to be a save that she needs to make on every long rest. If she succeeds on the saving throw and the exhaustion becomes 0, she is effectively cured from this. But otherwise, she continues to go down the track of exhaustion, and those hit points just remain the same for all intents and purposes. You also notice with your 20 that she's also suffering from something else, which is probably the reason why she picked up Sewer Plague and not the rest of you, because she's also suffering from something called... let me have a look. I wrote this down.
Insomnia?
Not insomnia.
Well, would Patch know that? With that nat 20, would he find that out? Because she hasn't told anyone that yet.
Possibly.
And I feel like that's a good enough roll that...
She's also suffering, you find, what looks to be... what does it look like? Like an itchy, swollen area, sort of on her thigh as well. It looks like she's been like scratching her. There's a bit of a fur missing, and you realise that this is a symptom of choleric worm. Now, choleric worm is something that you can pick up from, again, bad water and all that kind of stuff. So let's just say she went swimming in some bad water with an open wound, choleric worm, and the only effect from choleric worm is that she has disadvantage on any check to resist poisons or diseases, which is why she's been rolling these things with disadvantage. But
make me better.
One thing that you do know is that she can be successfully cured of choleric worm with a successful medicine skill check that requires a surgical incision.
Okay.
Fix it.
So basically, if you don't cure this is going to last a while, and she'll be making all those con saves every long rest at disadvantage.
Right. And so I will relay all of this information in, like, you know, probably simpler terms, just because that's how Patch talks. And then, you know, like, go fishing around in my healer's kit for a scalpel and just be like, so I can fix that one, and the other one you just gotta rest. If Serathil was still around...
Oh.
All right. This would be a good time to mention
the thing.
A couple of things.
What else is wrong with me?
Nothing necessarily wrong with you, but with your natural 20 on that medicine check, I will tell you it requires a DC 15 medicine skill check, and it will be a good time to remind you of what happens should you fail it by 5 or more. So keep that in mind.
Okay, what cards have we got on the table at the moment, folks?
So in regards to cards, you have an advantage and some health potions.
Okay, so...
You also have inspiration yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And I have inspiration.
Alright, and I can cast guidance on myself. So, what do you reckon if I use the advantage cards? Or does anyone not have inspiration?
Me.
You? Alright, so we'll save the card for you. I'll use my own inspiration, and I'll cast guidance on myself. So I'm rolling an advantage, and I get an extra d4.
So, yeah, okay.
Yep, sweet.
Make that roll for me.
Medicine check, yes.
Medicine check zony. Or med check.
12. Oh, I need this d4 to be good.
Ooh, we get a 3.
Yeah, 3 to succeed. At least this should keep us out of the realms of bad things not happening. Nah, so I don't succeed. I got 13.
Unfortunately,
but it wasn't a 9. It was or a 9 or a 10. Like, it wasn't by more than 5. So I didn't fuck it.
No complication. You can't assist him because you already had advantage on that roll. Now, what I will allow here is a push. You got to tell me what you're doing differently, and I'll allow you to push. But should you fail to push, there will be a complication regardless on how badly you fail. The other option is wait for a long rest, wait for that choleric worm to mature a little bit more, and it might come up towards the skin, because what you do know with your natural 20 is that the choleric worm after a while sort of comes out towards the skin and stays there for a while. So you might have to wait for it to sort of mature a little bit more. So next long rest, or you can push it now.
If he pushes it, can I have permission to attack him?
Yeah, man, this is Dungeons and Dragons. Do whatever you want.
Oh, sick! Okay, just know... Well, I think... Actually, you know what? Thrash wouldn't hit Patch. Because Patch is inherently innocent.
Patch is just going to look up and just be like, that didn't work. I could try again, but I could hurt you.
Well... What's the worst that could possibly happen? I hate to tell you, the sleep thing, not really an option, so I kind of need this out. Okay.
I'll do what I can. If I mess it up, hopefully I can heal you. At least got that.
If you mess it up, then we'll talk.
Okay. So what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to, in one hand, produce flame, re-sterilize the scalpel thingy I'm using, and then I'm going to go back to my work, and this time I'm going to be using the flame to keep the scalpel heated, so it's, maybe going to make my work a little bit easier, and then if I manage to get, at bits of the worm, I'm going to try and burn it out as I get it out.
Dranbalis, do you want to assist?
Yes, I'd like to also say that in the background, he's been working on some magic-y stuff. But yes, his attention will peak and walk over and say, "Do you require some assistance?"
Yes, please. Because I'm working now with flame in one hand and scalpel in the other. I probably need another set of hands to help me, work through the wound.
So, first of all, give me a medicine check from Dranbalis. See if you
hurt me, man, I'll kick your ass.
Can I use my inspiration?
Yeah, you can use your inspiration, but I'll tell you how this is going to work. So, someone has to be doing the check. Someone has to be assisting. The person assisting is going to roll that check first. If it's above a 10, they successfully assist, and then the second person will have advantage on making the actual check. So, you keep that in mind.
Right.
Guidance myself again while I'm doing this?
Yeah.
Yep, cool. So, I've got an extra... Don't worry about using your inspiration, Froth. I think it'll be fine.
I would either way feel inspired by Mark trying to help Thrash, and sorry, help Mark.
I mean,
we know what you mean.
I probably would too if I was there, if I had the skills that Patch has, which I don't.
Yeah,
I would probably just throw it overboard and call it a day. But anyway,
I'd be like,
yeah. Well, no one asked your opinion, Sven.
I know.
So
there we go. I would have cast guidance on myself as well. Was that perception?
That's you
only needed to beat a 10 and you got a 10 on the dice. So.
Did you roll that with advantage? Yeah. I used your inspiration.
I did.
Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. You assist, so you can roll that with advantage.
Yeah. I'm gonna add my D4 if I need to.
An extra D4.
Lucky I did.
Oh, that's better.
There we go.
I don't even need the guidance.
You sterilize the blade. I'm going to say you're going to take a D4 of damage here, Thrash. But you sterilize the blade, you dig in deeper, and you actually manage to locate the worm itself, and you get in there, I don't know, in your medicine bag, you probably have like a pair of tweezers, and you grab it and you pull it out, and it's like this long tapework type of thing that like wriggles as you pull it out of the wound, and it's like wriggling there, and you just throw it overboard. And
No, not
no, you eat it.
No. Like I've still got a palm full of flame.
Right.
And before,
that thing dead.
Wait, no. Before Patch goes to burn it, Thrash is like, Dick, can I keep it?
Okay. And just like hands it to her on the end of the tweezers.
I didn't mean that literally. It was
Okay. Oh.
right, but thanks for that.
That's
Thanks for
okay.
that.
Just let me stitch you up and things, and stitch the leg back up and wrap it with a bandage, and just right now
Alright.
be sure to keep it clean and change the bandage every day.
That's the choleric worm dealt with. So you still have the sewer plague, but you're not going to be rolling those checks with disadvantage at least, which is good for you.
Dr. Patch's advice for the sewer plague is lots of rest.
I was racking my brain thinking of what the effect would be if you failed that check with the push.
It's just like artery, man. Just like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or I could have an
That's
attack
so
with
risky.
advantage. She got like you nick a nerve, and Thrash
Reaction,
gets an
just like
attack
whack.
with advantage.
I was going to have the choleric worm dig deeper into her body and give her the poison condition, I think it was.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was going to give her the poison condition for 24
So
hours.
glad I used inspiration.
No good.
Um,
Just at the end of that conversation, a bit Patch will lean in and just be like, I don't know how you're gonna get the rest with your other condition, though.
I don't know what you're referring to. I have no idea what you're referring to. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my god, you're so funny.
If you
So
ever
funny.
need help getting to sleep, just let me know. I have some magic.
you may do so,
Look, I'm-
Froth. Continue on. Sorry. Keep going.
Oh, that was it.
What?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that was.
While this is happening, Verena's just gonna sit with Ploopploopeens, and just stroke his scaly head, and just be like, "There, darling, it's okay. We'll get over this. Lee Magoogoon he's watching over you, like he's watching over us all. Just try and take care of him.
While you
Make sure he's
Oh
not
my
bleeding
God.
out."
This is Monted.
Well, you're all dicking
She's still
around with
here.
that. Jim Jar makes his way over to the front of the boat and sort of hops off the side, and he's like, "Yeah, this is gonna. I'm no nautical expert. This is gonna take an hour or two to fix, probably."
Okay, well, we better get to work then.
All right.
Well, what do we need to fix it with?
Out of game for a
the supplies in
second.
the
Mark,
Yes.
don't forget you had something you had to ask me.
Oh, yeah, I did too. I almost forgot.
I just thought it
Before I
because it
get off
seems
the
like you
boat,
needed it. So,
Yeah, before I get off the boat, now that Thrash is awake, and while we're just talking, Thrash is just kind of like, he's going to look off to the side a little bit, sort of like down at the ground, and then without making eye contact with Thrash, he's just going to be like, do you have any weapons that you don't need? Just something I could put in one hand, just in case I need to.
I mean, isn't that kind of against your whole vibe? Like, haven't you
No.
got this whole pacifist
I don't
thing?
like hurting things, and I found that sometimes I need to protect my friends, and my spells, when I try and use them, tend to make things explode. So I thought maybe if I could just maybe bonk something on the head and knock it out, it wouldn't be so bad.
Okay. Thrash is going to pull out her dagger,
Mhm.
and she's gonna give it to Patch, hilt fast. She's gonna be like, I'm gonna give you this, but I trust you only to use it in defense of others.
It's a
Because
Dabby, have you got anything that
I've got a bat.
bonk?
I've got like a bat, if that's any better. Like a
Didn't you say
bat.
something about a mace?
Yeah, it's a mace.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a bat.
that would
It's a spiky
work.
bat.
Yeah,
Spiky
that
bat,
would be,
okay.
that would be good.
John
I'll
Balas
grab him.
overhears this, and he looks over and goes, "A bat! I have a bat too!" And clicks his fingers, and a magical spark appears, and poof, like magic, a little bat appears and starts flying around and comes and perches on his shoulder. A bat!
Let's go. Hey, cool.
You have
Right.
inspiration.
Looks at
Give yourself inspiration, Rowan.
Thrash looks at Patch and is like, Jesus, these magic types, I fucking swear sometimes. And she pulls out the mace. She's again hands it hilt first, and she's like,
Yeah.
now that you have a
Thank
weapon,
you.
don't forget to name it. You could call it classy, like something classy, like Truth Seeker, or like Soul Reaper. You know, you've got to give it a name. It doesn't work as well if it doesn't have a name.
He takes a look at the mace, gives a look over, and in traditional Furbolg nomenclature, you know, I name you Bonk.
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 Right. I was thinking something a little bit more classy than that, but bonk
Well,
works
listen,
too.
But this is,
Bonk works.
But no, names are like, so, you know, Bark is Bark because he chews on tree bark. I'm Patch because I like to fix things. The mace, you're Thrash because, you know, you go wild and thrash at things and kill them. And the mace is Bonk because it goes bonk.
While this enlightening conversation is happening, John Ballas, you lose sort of focus. Do you have a source of light while you're out here, by the way?
Is my bat here now?
Yes.
Yes. Now I have. I'm using the bat sight for my sight,
All right, that's
so
awesome.
that'll be. Yeah.
Oh, because you can see through your familiar's eyes, hey.
hmm
The bat sort of it lifts up over your shoulders, off your shoulder, and does a little lap around the island. And while it's flying, you notice something strange. I should have moved Jimjar, but Jimjar standing there, he was like appraising the damage done on the side of the boat. And while they're having this conversation, you notice that he's standing like perfectly still. I don't mean like he's just standing there. He's like his hands are out, like he was mid-conversation. He's not moving.
Frozen.
Just completely frozen.
He's
not moving at all.
turned into Elsa.
All of this, or...
No, Dran Ballas, you notice that? What do you want to do?
Dran Ballas is. He's got to tell the rest of the party, of course.
All right.
Everyone, there seems to be a problem with Jimjar, like he's frozen or something.
Oh, Jim Dog, are you okay, buddy?
Does my bat notice anything?
Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. Hope this is a good one. Yes,
Oh, that's not too bad.
19 for the viewers that I'm viewing.
Let me just check something real quick. Where are you? Bugger.
Here on the boat.
I'm trying to find something that I rolled earlier. Okay. No,
it's,
you don't.
blind sight too, if that helps.
Blind sight. So no, actually, the bat does not pick anything up. But Patch, you make your way over towards the edge of the boat, and you see Jimjar, as described by John Ballas, just standing there with his hands sort of outstretched. And as he's sort of standing there, he just falls over backwards and lands in the mud backwards. And as that happens, you can hear this otherworldly screech from the other side of the boat. It's like,
I'm gonna put a hand on my shoulder and give myself advantage on my next initiative check.
and we'll see you next week.
Every time.
I know, right?
Loves a good cliffhanger.
Hurts
fun.
me.